Every pleasure you've ever chased, the thrill, the taste, the touch, the rush has been whispering a secret to you, a secret you've been too ashamed or too afraid to understand. Society tells you pleasure is a distraction. Religion calls it a sin. Self-help warns it's an addiction. But Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, discovered something far more dangerous and far more true. He found that our pursuit of pleasure, our very lust for life, is not a moral failure. It is a spiritual misdirection, a sacred energy, lost and confused, trying to find its way home through the wrong door. Let's dismantle the first lie, that pleasure is sinful. Jung did not see pleasure as good or evil. He saw it as symbolic. Every craving, every hunger, every guilty pleasure is a symbol, a coded message from a part of your soul that feels starved. Think of it this way. A man obsessed with pornography is not just craving sex. He is craving connection, intimacy, or creative expression. But his psyche, confused and repressed, can only express that profound need through the most primal available symbol, sexual imagery. A woman lost in retail therapy, lusting after possessions, is not just materialistic. She is seeking a sense of value, abundance, or identity her conscious life denies her. The pleasure is never the end goal. It is the misdirected compass needle, spinning wildly, trying to point you toward what your soul actually lacks. Your unconscious speaks in the language of sensation because you have refused to listen to its whispers. So it screams through your nerves. We can break this down. Jungian psychology reveals 3 primary masks pleasure wears and the true face hiding beneath each one. Mask 1, sensory pleasure, which pretends to be the fulfillment of the body, the perfect meal, the intoxicating substance, the thrilling sensation. It is often anesthesia for the mind. You are not feeding your body. You are sedating a restless psyche. You are trying to satisfy a spiritual emptiness with a physical substance. The pleasure is a numbing agent for a pain you haven't dared to confront. Mask 2, emotional pleasure, which pretends to be validation, romance, drama. The addictive rush of a new romance, the craving for social media likes, the need for constant praise. It is often a substitute for self-worth. You are outsourcing the job of loving yourself. The pleasure of external validation is a temporary patch over the leak of your own self-regard. You are trying to get from others what you have not built within. Mask 3, possessive pleasure, which pretends to be power, security, status. The lust for money, for the perfect home, for the impressive job title, what it often is, a fortress against meaninglessness. You are building walls of achievement and acquisition to protect yourself from the terrifying question, what is my life for? The pleasure of possession is the thrill of adding another brick to a wall that will never be high enough. In each case, the pleasure is not the truth, it is the symptom. A fever telling you your inner world is sick with disconnection. So what is the alternative? Do we reject all pleasure, become ascetics? No. The Jungian path is not denial. It is translation. It is the alchemical art of taking the base lead of a raw, compulsive craving and transforming it into the gold of conscious purpose. Here is the practical shift. The next time you feel a powerful, perhaps shameful pull toward a pleasure, pause. Do not act. Ask. Ask this single, revolutionary question. What state of being does this pleasure promise me? The promise is always in the feeling, not the thing. The chocolate cake promises comfort. The new purchase promises significance. The gossip promises connection. The lustful fantasy promises vitality or freedom. Now, here is the magic. You can honor the promise without obeying the impulse. You can give your soul the state of being it craves directly. If it craves comfort, can you sit in silence and comfort your own anxiety? If it craves significance, Can you do one small, meaningful act just for you? If it craves connection, can you reach out vulnerably to a real person? If it craves vitality, can you move your body, create something, step into the sun? You are not saying no to pleasure. You are saying, I see you to the deeper need. You are satisfying the hunger, not just chewing on the symbol. When you begin this practice, a profound change occurs. Pleasure stops being a tyrant you fight or a god you worship. It becomes a compass. A dull, persistent craving for distraction tells you your present moment is devoid of meaning, time to engage. A sharp lust for something forbidden signals a part of your personality that feels imprisoned, time to explore. The endless scroll for novelty reveals a mind starving for real stimulation, time to create. This is the ultimate Jungian integration. Your shadow, pleasures the ones you hide and hate, are no longer enemies. They are informants. They are lost parts of your own consciousness, holding up signs written in the only language they know, the language of want. The purified pleasure that remains after this translation is no longer compulsive. It is sacramental. A meal becomes gratitude, a touch becomes presence, an achievement becomes expression, a moment of beauty becomes communion. You are not feeling less, you are feeling everything more clearly. The static of addiction is gone, and the true signal of your soul comes in, clear and strong. So, you will never see pleasure the same way. You will look at your own desires, and you will see not a sinner, but a seeker, not a weakness, but a misunderstood strength. You will understand that every time you reached for something to fill a void, you were actually reaching for a missing piece of yourself. Carl Jung gave us this key. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your darkest, most secret pleasures are not your corruption. They are your darkness begging to be made conscious. They are your unintegrated self knocking at the door. Stop fighting the knock. Open the door and listen to what it has been trying to tell you all along.